People have been migrating to Florida at a rate of nearly 1,000 per day for the last 3 years. And from January to April every year, you can count on about another 3.5 million snowbirds invading the streets, the interstates, the beaches, the restaurants, the rental housing units. There's sunshine, there's warmth, there's world-class beaches, there's art activities, there's street activities. Some of the best restaurants. Sarasota has more 5-star Zagat ratings than any other city in Florida, so people come here for lots of reasons. But today I want to share with you some of the reasons why people have swung the exit door of Sarasota wide open and have said, that's enough for me. Creatures. Southwest Florida is a home for a really diverse range of unique creatures and insects. Some are notable ones. You've got manatees that are notably friendly, but let me tell you, when you're in the water and an 800-pound creature comes up, friendly as can be, but when he puts his nose on your leg, it's gonna freak some people out. They don't wanna go in the water after that. You're gonna find lots of manatees up in the Crystal River and the Homosassa Springs area. They're gentle giants. They're herbivorous marine mammals. You can typically spot them in the freshwater, shallow coastal waters, but some people are petrified of the manatees. You got the American alligator. They were here before us. They live here. They like the water. If it's fresh water, you can count on an alligator being there. Don't think because you don't see it, it's not there. These large reptiles can be found in freshwater habitats, including swamps, marshes, lakes, some even in brackish water, so be careful. Dogs have been taken, people have been taken. They're not pets. Don't try to feed them. Don't try to go swimming with them. Just respect. They will have the potential to do you some serious harm. Now, mangrove tree crabs, they're cute. Most people have never seen one, but if you ever do, if you're down by the mangrove area, if you like fishing, or if you're exploring and you see a mangrove tree crab, they have long legs and claws. They help them navigate the mangrove roots, and they play an important role in eating decaying leaves and maintaining the health of the mangrove ecosystem. They're important, but when you see one and people associate that as their experience of going to the beach, some people says, not for me. Insects. You can find lots and lots of insects. Interestingly enough, in 2023, we've had some cases of malaria. I think only 6 in the state, but that rich biodiversity offers opportunities for nature enthusiasts, but mosquitoes live here, thrive here, breed here. And with all the influx of people coming in from all over the world with border issues recently, malaria is coming in and other issues. So some people said, uh-oh, I'm afraid maybe malaria is going to get me. Well, I've happened to have malaria multiple times in my life, too many times to count, so I'm not too concerned about it. But malaria and insects, there's lots and lots and lots of insects. Insurance premiums, oof. Now, Florida is the most litigious state in the nation. Billboards line the roadways, encouraging people to call the attorneys for lawsuits. Now look, it's nice to get a big lawsuit, but there's a considerable amount of insurance fraud in this state, especially with the roofing industry, storm-related. People are being taken advantage of by insurance companies, and insurance companies are being taken advantage of by fraudulent roofers especially. So many roofers, they declare bankruptcy every 15 to 20 years. They pop up under another name and they just keep right on going. So our governor is working on rules to help insurance and roofing industry especially. In fact, recently there's just been legislation passed that if you'll work with certain roofers that are vetted by the government, you will receive actually $10,000 rebate after your house is put up. Now that's another video for another day, but that is a very, very important point to note. Fourth reason, heat and humidity. It's kind of stating the obvious, but the reason people come here is for the heat. And a lot of reasons that people leave is for the heat. Florida is just plain hot. In the month of July and August, you should expect the temperatures to be in the 90s, high 90s. The humidity is going to range in the high 50s, 60s, 70s. And it's going to be hotter than Texas and Arizona. They claim that dry heat, we have humid heat. So people who move down here from Mississippi, from Arizona or Texas, they don't mind it so much. But when you come down here from Ohio, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maryland, it's a different story. Heat is intense. So if you're going to be in the heat, you want to make sure that you're in a place where you can cool yourself off. Sit your butt in a beach chair so it's touching the water. Dangle your feet ankle deep, at least, in water. Have a nice cool drink in the ice chest, and you won't mind the heat. But if you're going to do landscaping, cutting grass, cutting down trees, putting roofs on, it's going to be a real hot place to try to live and try to work. Another reason people are leaving, hurricanes have been part of this state's history. They're going to continue to come here. And when hurricane season comes, you can expect things to be said to you like my neighbor said to me last week, hey, it's hurricane season. Did you go down and buy your window straps yet? Well, my answer was no. Why? Because hurricane season is here, and I have hurricane straps from last time when Ian hit in September 28 of 2022. But you can expect that there's never going to be a year in Florida where there's not going to be some at least threat or warning of hurricanes. So people that fear storms, people that have gone through one bad hurricane, if they've had the tragedy of maybe losing a loved one or losing a home, it's just no fun to live here anymore when that is on your mind. So hurricanes, they're here to stay. Another reason, and one of the biggest that I hear often, is this: I just can't take being away from my kids and grandkids. I was showing a client a home that had been purchased just 2 years before. It was a gorgeous home. I'm talking it was in the 800,000s. The home was absolutely pristine, recently remodeled, gorgeously decorated. They actually over remodeled because that's why it was having a rough time selling. But the lady looked at me straight in the eye and she said, look, life is just too short for us from here on to be this far away from our kids and our grandkids. And more than any other reason that I could probably point to you, families, separations are seemingly the number one reason that most people who moved here are moving out of here within 2 years. They conclude that life is just too short and those grandkids are just growing up too fast. The basic cost of living, another major reason. People came here thinking it was going to be a lower cost of living, and 5 years ago, it was. Housing 5 years ago, definitely cheaper than the housing is now. The state of Florida has offered very low housing for years and years and years, but when COVID hit, that pandemic created such a surge of people coming. The basic rule of economics, supply and demand. The demand has gone sky high, and even though there's been an adjustment in price, the demand is still very, very high. Think about it. 1,000 people a day moving into a state. They can't build houses fast enough. Builders are trying to balance out, do we keep going, do we slow down? But Miami, Naples, there's expensive housing there as any place, even in San Francisco. So people have said, if I've got to put up with the heat and the humidity and I'm not going to get a big housing break, maybe I'll move to Georgia or North Carolina where I have more of a middle of the road opportunity. Last reason I want to point out, some people are frustrated with the politics in Florida and other people are in love with the governor and his politics. Some people love to have the freedom to carry a gun, go buy a gun at the gun show. Other people say, I'm never going to live in a state like that again. So as of July 2023, Florida is a red state with a lot of red political sway under the leadership of Governor DeSantis. You can bet one thing's for certain, sooner or later, there will be another governor. It may or may not stay red or go redder or go bluer, but a lot of people are moving into the state because of the political orientation and the laws. But in all honesty, as one who lives here, there are a lot of people who have decided to leave the state because they cannot put up with the frustrations they feel run by such a conservative, Republican-based politics. So I'm not going to give a political sway, but I'm going to tell you, this is a free state. The governor is promoting that. The governor is now running for president. He's saying, hey, as it is in Florida, the nation should be free. So there you have it. The exit door in Florida has swung open. A lot of people who came here excited 2 and 3 years ago are just as excited to leave. I've just given you some of the reasons why, not all of the reasons. My intent is never to be exhaustive, but it is to be informative. So if you have found that this has helped you in any way, caused you to be curious in any way, maybe raise some questions in any way, would you just do me a favor? Would you just hit the like button? If you'd like to receive others, would you just hit the subscribe button? And I hope that you'll give me a call when you have any questions or concerns. I love disagreements, not because I love to disagree, but I would love to hear your perspective as to how I could address issues that would be practical to you. This is Brent Haggerty. This channel is Gulf Premier Sarasota. You can find me on BrentHaggerty.com. I look forward to seeing you real soon.